Hey guys, Ramblin Bob here again. So I want to take a first look at the Bluetti AC240. Now I guess it was just debuted today, and I saw it on the Bluetti live stream, and it was a very short video, but it looks very interesting. There was a fellow who literally covered it in like dirt and mud, and a guy that I think it's the same guy, fellow that he put it in his workshop, and it was all like rainy and moist, and just it looked like a bad place to work. But he cooked food out the back of his truck out in the middle of, like, it looks like the desert or something. I mean, he's in the middle of nowhere. He's out there like chopping wood and stuff with electric chainsaw. But I want to take a look at this, and if you guys want to come along, you can feel free to grab yourself a Dr. Pepper and some popcorn, and we can ramble about this new system. Now, I love every new system that comes out, and I really enjoy learning about it, because maybe there's something out there that I haven't seen yet, or different technologies, or just another cool power station. I don't know. I'm hooked on this stuff like candy. Okay, guys, let's take a look here. This is the AC240 portable power station, and it says here it's available starting April 2nd. So that's probably a few weeks away. I believe that's 3 weeks away from now. Let me check the... Today is March 18th, so 2 weeks. Okay, so it's available in 2 weeks, guys. And I don't have a price, I don't think. Maybe it's listed on here, but let's take a look at the page here and see what we got here. So we have IP65 all-round protection. Okay, so one thing we got to remember, guys, that IP65 is not waterproof. That's watershed. So if you want to look up IP ratings, just type in IP ratings IP65, and then you'll get a full explanation of what an IP65 rating is. 15 millisecond UPS. Now that's faster, because a lot of the Bluetti models that I am familiar with have under a 20 millisecond UPS. So this one seems to be stepping up on that game too. So you have Bluetopus AI BMS. So Bluetopus is I'm assuming like an 8-core AI. Wow, AI generated processor in there, and octopuses obviously have 8 arms. So I'm assuming it's going to be 8. We'll see down hopefully in the specs on the bottom of this page. But a Bluetopus is obviously an 8-core, in my opinion, mixed with Bluetti. So we have to wait and see. And then it's AI, and then a BMS stands for Battery Management System. So that controls all the inflow and outflow of all the information and charging parameters and all that fancy stuff. Basically, that's your manager of your system, basically, for charging. And then Safest Life Pole 4. That's lithium iron phosphate battery, which is much safer. They're right. They're correct with that. Much safer than lithium-ion batteries, because lithium-ion batteries, if they have what is known as thermal runaway, that's when the battery starts on fire. It never can be extinguished until it burns out of the chemicals that are inside the thing. And this I've seen, the lithium-iron phosphate batteries, if they ever were to go, which is very rare to my knowledge, it just puts out a plume of like smoke stuff, but it doesn't actually start a fire. So much safer in that regards. If you ever seen a lithium ion battery, or if you haven't seen, I highly recommend you searching YouTube and just type in lithium ion battery overcharge, and those are scary videos, guys. No jokes. Holy crapzilla. Okay, so you have 2400 rated output power, and then you have 3600 lifting power. Now, guys, what that's referring to is the power lifting mode. I personally, and it's just my opinion, am not a fan of the power lifting mode. I think it's very dangerous, because a lot of people don't understand what it is and how it works. The power lifting is only for purely resisted loads, which means if you hook up something like, say, a heater with no fan or any motors or anything in it, or like a coffee pot or something, just something that has a heat element in it, and that's it. You know, kind of like a light bulb. So just something that has just straight heat or light. That's a purely resistive load, to my understanding. And if you have anything with a motor on it, what happens is it drops the voltage down very low. I've seen it go as low as 79 volts, and then it puts the amps up. So if you're familiar with doing your solar panels, you know, you have a higher voltage. It's not as hard on the wires, you know what I mean? So the higher the voltage, the easier it is for the energy to get through. So as the voltage drops, it causes the motors to stress, and then they run very, very bad. If you ever want to test it, I don't recommend you test it, but I made the mistake once a long time ago of running a very small microwave through a 50-foot electric cord, okay, with a power strip on it. And I'll never do that again, because I learned in real time many years ago that what happens is and I wouldn't have known if I didn't hear it, the microwave makes a very different sound. And what that is that's the motor and the elements struggling for voltage, for power. And eventually it would have burned out that microwave. But I caught it in time, of course, because, you know, that's how you learn. You make mistakes in life and you learn. And that was a bad mistake that I don't wish anybody to do. So if you're going to run something on an extension cord, best thing to do, guys, don't. If you have to for emergency, I understand, but extension cords can really drop the voltage with something called voltage sag. And that's kind of how the powerlifting works. It drops the voltage and ups the amps, which means the heat generated and the voltage goes down, the power goes down as far as the voltage pressure, and it really, really burns up equipment. So be careful with that, guys. Be careful, be careful. Okay, so here you got your expansion. Look at this bad boy. 1,536 watt hours to 20,272 watt hours. Guys, that's a 20 kilowatt system. Wowie zowie. I wonder if that's for both of these or for one. If this is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, if these are two, this is probably 15 and these are probably 2 plus each. We have to wait and see down. Then I can see that it would be both of the systems that would equal 20,000. And then this is kind of like a coupler. What that does is so you can have two systems running together, so you can have a higher output, which is like the 240 or dual phase or something like that. Here's 1,200 watt efficient PV input. Now that's fantastic, guys. If that's on one port, that's a monster import for a very small power station. That could charge that thing lickety split. I'll tell you what, that's a lot of power. The highest power input that I have on a single port in my arsenal, if you will, is 700 watts, and that is on one unit. And then the next powerful one is 600. So I don't have the biggest systems yet, but boy, my candy drawer is filling up mighty quick, I'll tell you that. And then you have a NEMA TT30. Now, do you guys remember that weird one? It's like a circle like this, and it's got those weird little like slots in it. That's like an RV plug. It's a 30 amp cable. It's real big and fat circle, and then that's much easier to integrate into a RV system, because the battery packs of an RV system usually take that real heavy. We always call it the weird plug. It's an RV plug. You see it a lot of campgrounds and stuff. It looks like this, but it's much bigger. So think of it like this, but instead of the circles, it has the slats in it. It almost looks like an angry face, we always said. Okay, so you have 45 minutes to 80%. Now, guys, that's very quick for a big machine like that. Holy crap, Zilla. So you got 2,400 watts of AC charging. That's a monster, guys. Now, one good thing about Bluetti is if you don't have that much power in the wall, because if you don't, you'll pop your circuit in your house or your fuse. So Bluetti in their apps allow you to slow down the charging, whether it's silent or normal, or what is it called, turbo charging, and that way you can cut this power down probably 2 or 3 times, and that way if you don't have that much power to give on your grid or whatever you're hooked to, like say a generator or something, it knocks the input down so it doesn't put that much pressure on your grid or your generator or wherever the power is coming from. Bluetti app control, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth. Guys, I have to admit it, I only have 2 systems right now that have Bluetooth, and of those 2 systems, Bluetti is leaps and bounds ahead of the competition for me. I haven't tried all of them, of course, but of what I tried, I've only tried 2. It's not even a competition. Their apps are very, very accurate. They're very, very trying to think of the best words to use, guys. Like they don't seem buggy, they don't crash, they work when you use them. They don't lock up, it seems. I can't remember it. It could have been once or twice, but I can't remember off the top of my head ever when I had a problem with a Bluetti app. So they really do good with the R&D department, the research and development of the apps and the programming to get that to work on everybody's phone. I've tried Bluetti apps on about 3 different phones, and I have had, not that I remember, any problems with any of their apps on any of the phones that I tried. I believe I tried a Samsung A10e, a Samsung Android S23 Ultra, and one other one, a G Stylus, a Moto G Stylus. That one I tried too, and then I tried it on a few other ones, but it didn't have up enough firmware, you know, the high enough firmware, so I could install it. Okay, so here you get an early bird discount, guys, if you subscribe to this here, and then you know, you'll know about it when they send it. I'll put my email address in later. Okay, so it says, why Bluetti AC20? Let me shrink this down a little bit here so we can put a little bit more stuff on the page here. So I guess you can use it like this. This is what it looked like, guys, when it was on the beach in that video, and he had it literally, it was caked with like mud and dirt. And I remember, I see IP65 is not waterproof, it's watershed. But this looks like it has, you know, gone through the ringer for sure. And then here's this looks like the beach, this looks like the desert and the dirt, this looks like the beach. That's the patent, and then that's we'll get to it. Alternative fuels. Okay, so IP is water and dust resistant. Remember, it's not waterproof. That's a big thing. Rain or shine, dust or mud, the AC240 stands tall. Fearlessly embrace all weather elements for more possibilities. So that's a very good direction they're going, guys, is to have these little power stations where they could, you know, take that splash of water. You know, if I were to, you know, foolishly spill a soda pop on it, you know, you just, obviously, you know, you get the sugar off there so it doesn't stick. You clean it like Windex or something. You clean it nice. Obviously, you have the machine off when you clean it. But that way you can keep your machine running and looking good at the same time. Okay, this says sea corrosion protection. Sea breeze and salty air, no match for the AC240. Keeping your power as fresh as the ocean breeze. Now, that sounds great. I'd love to learn more about the technology of what they're using inside there to coat this thing with. You know, all the ports and how they figured out how to keep the ports away from that sea air, because sea air is very you know, it's just filled with water vapor. You know, like, you know, those of us who live in Florida know that every day is a damp, humid day. Your basement or a workshop or something like that, or a barn, or, you know, just anything like that. If you have an older vehicle and it's all metal, the moisture builds up very much. You can see it on the inside of your windows, where you can write your name in the windows like you did when you were a kid. That's all moisture that is actually building up inside that car. Or van or RV or whatever, but usually RVs are a lot more insulated, but a lot of the older vehicles are solid metal, and a lot of workshops that people still working on farms and stuff are all metal. You know, they have that tin roofing or metal roofing and stuff like that, and the walls and everything, so it can gather moisture rather quick. Okay, now this is the patent here. Multi-protector, 20 plus innovative patent. A series of revolutionary technologies ensure superior quality and unrivaled reliability. I haven't heard that many complaints about Bluetti. And a plus, guys, over the last 2 years, I know firsthand, Bluetti's customer service has leaps and bounds grew in a positive direction. So I have to give them props for that. I really do. Okay. So the last one is the fuel technology. Now, this one I'm interested in because the way you can charge it is really cool. It says true alternative to fuel generators. Okay, that makes sense. It says lead the charge and energy transformation to a new era of clean power. So, guys, as you know, or maybe you don't know, they have many ways to actually create energy. They have propane generators, they have gasoline generators, they have diesel generators, they have hydro generators, they have solar and wind, and out of all of those I just mentioned, the most nicest, compact, least amount of noisy one out of all of those that I just mentioned, easy to put away, easy to carry, easy to store, by far is this battery technology. This technology has literally, no jokes, saved my entire existence of how I live life, as far as how I like travel, and, you know, because I used to have generator and I used to have gasoline, and I used to, it's very dangerous, guys, because, and then you have extra gasoline, so you have, your bonus jug in case you run out of gas. That's a very dangerous thing to transport, because one wrong move with gasoline could be possibly your last move. You know what I mean? So like one spark and boom. I don't want to say that's horrible. Same with propane. Propane is not as safe as what people think. However, it's much safer, in my opinion, than gasoline, and that's because it's in those really, really rugged propane containers, the big metal heavy ones where they can literally fall down off a building and not pop. But a gasoline jug can be real. I mean, the guys, they're plastic. You know what I mean? Like, how safe is that? But they've been using plastic gasoline jugs forever. You can go out and get a special jerry can, which is like a military grade can that you can put on back of your Jeep. You've seen them on Jeeps when they drive down the street, and they have like the metal rings on the top where you can lock them down, so that way they're very safe. But still, inside that metal thing is gasoline, and the problem with gasoline is the fumes create pressure, and in the heat, that pressure can build up. We were fishing once, and we saw a boat where you know how they have that little release valve on top of a plastic one that lets that that gas pressure out of there. Well, they forgot to open that, and we literally saw this. It was a weird look in the air. We were probably about 2 blocks away in the middle of the lake, if I'm judging distance, and all of a sudden, this gas can, this big orange thing we could see from a distance, literally blew up on the back of a pontoon boat that was parked. And thankfully it was parked, because that could have really injured somebody. And that's what I mean about this, is really changed and saved my life, is the way I do things, guys. I'm a battery supporter 150 billion% now, until something better comes out. It's better than wind, it's better than hydro, it's better than gasoline, it's better than diesel, it's better than propane, in my opinion. Man, oh man, unless you go to heat. If you want to create heat, then the diesel and the gasoline, the propane is obviously better for creating heat. So it all depends on what you need it for. If you need recharging energy, or if you need electricity for things, then obviously you stick with the batteries. And well, that's a big IP65 sign. And if you need heat generation, that's obviously propane, gasoline for fire, or natural gas, or things like that. Still hold the record for me for that particular part of camping and stuff like that. Okay, so that's the system itself, guys. Gorgeous looking system. I'll tell you what, I've said it many times on this channel. Bluetti has the probably, and I'm going to say probably the most professional looking power stations on the market today, in my opinion. I really like how they look like they're business oriented. You could put one on a stage, you could put it in an office, and people would not even know that is a pack of batteries in there. They would think that's some kind of a server or something like that, or a computer hardware or something like that. It just has that very professional, I'm not playing games look. Very, very cool look. So I definitely give Bluetti props for that as well. And then this is how the water, I guess as soon as the water gets in there, it shoots forward. Now, I can't pause this video, but hopefully if we can let it play again, guys. Look, there's slush, guys, water. So when it goes through this vent right here, notice it goes through the other, notice the exposed board right here, okay? So let's hopefully be able to see later what that's coated with to keep it watertight. Now, a lot of circuit boards are waterproof nowadays, but the connections are not, and that's where you get into trouble with having problems with water. So I guess as soon as it detects liquid, oh, I can pause it. Okay, so right here, guys, is what I'm referring to. Notice that these are all covered with plastic here, okay? But notice that these two, if these are port covers here, I don't know if those are connections, but notice this big board here, this big divider, and what that does is it keeps the water or the moisture from getting to the board. Now, maybe this is longer, and I don't know, or there's a cover that goes over this, but very innovative design here that protects this stuff from getting wet. I like that a lot. Dual fan, of course. Most systems have dual fan. Let's see, let's keep going. It says with the 360-degree armored protection structure and internal components, The IP65 AC240 is nicely engineered to withstand dust and moisture intrusion effectively. Count on the AC240 to deliver unwavering power support in every journey. Stay powered, move forward. I like it, guys. So far, I like it. I think Bluetti is going in a very positive direction as far as their technology. Like I said, their customer service has gotten much better over the years. Now, this is pushing the boundaries with the AC240. Nicely crafted to withstand the harshest conditions. The AC240 delivers complete isolation, no worry about water ingress compromising its internal components. Safe and sound from inside out. Okay, so that sounds really good. This sounds very interesting, guys. Okay, so now you gotta keep scrolling here. Independent air duct. Let's see, there you go. Okay, so the air duct is actually independent, which means it's by itself, as the word describes. Fears of no water ingress, which means any water that goes in there is not allowed to get to the circuitry area. So I'd love to see how that works. I'd like to see how the bottom is sealed here, because water, you know, drips. So if water gets in there, it would try to drip down. Water always follows gravity. That's just, you know, natural. But maybe they have a very, very cool, neat new way to keep that separate. And so far, it sounds fantastic. Exclusive DC output here for RV or boat. So I believe that's a marine port, but we won't know till we get to the bottom here. This is now, here's that NEMA TT30, guys. Power free RV or boat. Now that's that weird one. That's this big circle with the 3 little lines in it. Hopefully I'll be able to show you that in this video too. 3600 watts with lifting power. I believe it was 2400 watts without. Guys, be careful once again with that power lifting. They called it power lifting before. Now I don't know if they call it lifting power now, but it used to be called power lifting. Be careful. It's only for purely resistive loads, which is like heater elements and things like that. So please be careful using that. Learn about it before you just go plug it in, you know, all willy-nilly and just, you know, breaking your equipment. Okay, powering your RV and yacht. Ahoy there, you've got an AC240 as the no-pay first mate. With its NEMA TT 30 amp and RV ports, the AC240 ensures your RV life and voyage is powered up and ready for anything. Whether you're navigating the high seas or driving into the unknown wilderness, boy, that sounds exciting, doesn't it, guys? It's reliable enough to keep your adventures smooth from start to finish, no matter how choppy the waters or how dusty the roads. Note, the AC240 can be connected with shore power to provide power to boats. Extra cable is required or sold separately. Okay, so they have a special shore for marine that you have to buy separately. I don't know what it costs. Look at this guy. Just this animation right here is exciting. So look at how much stuff that you could replace with this one little box, and you're done. And then you have a power distribution box, and you're done. Look at this. 4 batteries. You got a Bluetooth module, 2 MPPT controllers. I got to wait till it goes back again here, guys. Then you have... this is your charging center. It goes so fast, guys. But very, very cool that you could replace. Look at all this stuff, guys. All that power strip and everything. Holy crap, Zilla, guys. That's that's an AC inverter. What that was. That's the AC inverter. But to be and an automatic cutoff switch. That looks like a DC and AC cutoff switch. So it replaces all of that. Yep, that's a DC cutoff switch. Replaces all of that, so you don't have to worry. Everything is, you know, in one little box, so you don't have to, no fuss, no muss. You pick up the box, carry it around, set it down, plug it in, you're done. That's cool. Think of all the wires between all these things, guys. What a headache. I built them like that before. That's a lot of time consuming headache, and if you make a mistake on the hookup of any of those, even one wire, one ground, one whatever, you can destroy your whole system. So this is great. These boxes are really cool. Like I said, they've changed my life. I'll never go back to generators unless I have to as an emergency, or if I have to generate heat, then I would go back to gasoline, propane, or diesel or something like that. Like diesel heaters, guys. Holy crap, Zilla, I want to try one so bad. Okay, for every scenario, a mind-blowing Power Master thrives in all weather conditions. So here you got some people in the middle of the desert camping. Boy, that looks fun. And then here they're making some water for tea or coffee, and then here's the fire going on. And just imagine, guys, when this is all nighttime and you can see the stars and you can really look up and literally see how absolutely oh, I can't even think of minute small that we are in this universe. We are no longer than a grain of sand, if that, in this whole universe. It's unbelievable. When you get to go camping and literally remind yourself, like if you live in a big city, guys, you don't get to see stuff like that. You know, I've been in a big city now for 50 plus years, and I still, to this day, I get humbled every time I go in a desert style environment, or camping, or wilderness kind of thing, and you look up at the stars, and it's absolutely mind-boggling of how small we are in comparison to whatever's out there. Like, it's unbelievable, guys. And you can obviously put it in your workshop, on your boat. If you're going to put it in your boat, guys, I want to give you some warning right away. Make sure that this box is strapped down somewhere. Don't just put it on the deck like that. A lot of the DNR guys and everything, anytime that you put a battery on a vessel meaning a boat or a pontoon boat or canoe or whatever, it must be, most of the time by law, it has to be strapped down and secured, because a battery can be very dangerous, and of course they don't want that battery to end up in the lake, unless unfortunately the whole boat goes down, and then there's nothing you can really do. So here's a guy that's out there, and boy, this guy's roughing it right here. Holy crapzilla. So he's got literally the rainy jungle, and he's got this isn't even a tent, guys. This is like a food prep area. So imagine what a headache this would be with all the mud and the rain and oh boy, count me out, guys. I'm a summer kid. And then this is wonderful for emergency backup, guys. You can put it in your house, and that's what I mean about all these situations, guys. Now, you could put a generator on a boat, very dangerous. You could put a generator in your house, not a good idea, very dangerous. You could put a generator in all this fuss and muss. Sometimes it doesn't work because of the moisture, and the spark plug gets wet or whatever. You could put it in the shop. Now that you could have a generator, but remember, you have the carbon monoxide problem. You have to vent that stuff. And then in the middle of the desert, now why would you want to pollute something as gorgeous as a desert or a rainforest or something like that? And this able to bring the power in, you use the power and then take it back out. No fuss, no muss, no cleanup, no nothing. You're not, oh, look, here was a hidden one, guys, in a minefield. Okay, holy crapzilla, that one popped out of nowhere, guys. I was not expecting that. So this one literally says a minefield. Okay, I'm never, ever going to work at a mine, but, I never thought of that. This is actually something that just, caught me off guard when the picture just popped up. Yes, because if you're in a situation like a tunnel or something like that, or underground inside, but I never thought of that. Think of it, you don't have any of the carbon monoxide that can build up in that tunnel or that the basement or that room or anything, and you can literally power stuff like lights and all kinds of stuff without that problem of possibly expiring yourself. You know what I mean? Like, I never thought of that, guys. Holy cow. Great picture. This is a great picture. I don't know what they call it, a minefield. I believe that's a mine shaft. A minefield in my mind is totally different, and I don't want to be on one. But I think that's called a mine shaft, or just a mine. But minefield sounds so dangerous, guys. Holy cow. Okay, our planet, your choice. Is that spelled right? Oh, anyway. Okay, so they're going to make mistakes. I don't know if it's just me or that looks weird. Choice. Okay, for real, man. Keep watching those clunky fume-spewing generators messing up Mother Earth. Or hop on board the Green Energy Express to a cleaner, quieter world. Your call. That's a very bold statement, guys. And you know what? I have to agree with it. I have to, because I live that way now. And here you go. You got clean and renewable, right? It's very quiet, which it is, guys. I literally can sleep 1 or 2 feet away from my power station, and I don't even hear it. If you draw a small enough load, the fans don't kick on. If you charge it slow enough, the fans don't kick on, and you can literally sleep right next to it. So in a case of an emergency, that's great, where you have the, a small situation where you're trying to either keep warm or keep safe or whatever. Plug and play. Absolutely. Take this bad boy. You see the water in the ground, guys? Even though that it is IP65, guys, do yourself a favor. Don't put any batteries or anything in a puddle of water. It's just not a good idea. I think that's there just for show. Just don't, guys. I always try to recommend putting any battery or battery pack off the concrete. Concrete can actually seep energy from a battery. A lot of people don't know that, but if you put your DeWalt tools on the concrete for an hour, you'll see that the battery actually gets like drained, because the earth is full of like static discharge and all, you know, like you know what I mean, like the earth is alive, you know what I mean. So it literally can suck the energy out of a battery. It's weird to understand, but once you see it and you go, oh, you know, like I've watched a lot of engineers show you that, where if you put a battery in the wrong space, the energy drains faster, like you know, on metal or something like that. Sometimes wood is usually the best for batteries that I've learned, but there's probably a lot of other things that you could use. And then on the other side, they're talking about a diesel generator. A diesel generator, guys, the biggest problem with diesel, and one of the only things that hold me back from buying a diesel heater, is the smell of diesel. If you guys ever smell diesel when it's improperly burned, it's stinky. Have you ever been behind that semi or that bus and they burn that diesel? Now here's the weird thing. Diesel burns cleaner than gas. I believe, I'm not sure, I believe it takes 10 to 20 automobiles to equal the pollution of one bus. I mean, you would think it would be the other way around because a bus is huge, right? But a bus actually and a semi runs cleaner than 10 to 20 automobiles. That's mind-boggling, because you see the black smoke come off of that diesel bus or that big diesel pusher, you know, that what do they call it? The big RVs, the Model A's, which is basically a bus, or the big semi with the smokestacks, and you're seeing this big cloud of black smoke. Guys, it's so strange. That is actually healthier for the environment than cars. And the reason cars are more dangerous is because you can't see that black smoke, and that's why it's more dangerous. It actually puts out more carbon footprint than an actual semi. I had no idea about that. That's crazy. Okay, so you have toxic emission. Of course, with gas or diesel, guys, you cannot breathe that in. You will expire yourself. Not a good situation to be in. Very noisy, guys. So with like the generator running, not only do you have to worry about that carbon monoxide buildup and a fan and a ventilated room and all that. Like, you don't need a ventilated room with a battery. You just set it in the room, right? But with a diesel heater or a gas heater, you have to have it ventilated, or like I said, you'll have a very bad day. Noisy, obviously a motor is noisy. You can't sleep next to it unless you're a very heavy sleeper. They're noisy. I used to have one of the quietest residential, I think they call it commercial grade generators on the market, which is the Honda EU2000i. I still have it. It is absolutely worth its weight in gold. I take that back. It's worth its weight in absolute platinum or palladium. It's better than gold. It's never failed us. However, it's noisy, it's dangerous with the gas and everything. So we've moved on to batteries, and I keep the Honda for a backup as an emergency. So now I have a backup, which is awesome. You have two backups. The more backups you have, the better. You know, there's an old saying, guys, you plan for the worst and you hope for the best. So fingers crossed, right? Fossil fuel reliant. So obviously you have to, you know, go get gas and diesel and things like that, and oil and petroleum out of the ground, where you can actually pull the energy from the sun. Now, once I got into solar power, like for real, not like a you know, fun and games, I really started looking into very, you know, good size arrays, 1600 watt arrays, things like that. You're bringing in equivalent power to what is in your wall and the outlet, and that is amazing that you can take a board. Like, some guy had to come up with this, you know, or lady, someone had to come up with this concept of, let's put a board and aim it at the sun and figure out how to get those rays, the UV rays and all that stuff, into electricity. I commend them 100%, because, you know, as an average human being, I never would have even thought of the concept, more or less, actually made it a reality. So very thankful for those people. Number 4 is difficult maintenance and ongoing cost. There again, you have literally nothing to maintain in a power station like this, other than you want to clean the vents with a vacuum cleaner from time to time, and you want to clean the ports, and possibly if you ever had to replace the fans. The fans have motors in them. Other than that, if you go over here to the generator, you have tune-ups, spark plug wires, gas cleaning stuff where you put this, the cleaner gas stuff in there, and then it cleans out like the cylinders and all that stuff. It's a mess. It's dirty. It's frustrating. You have to do it annually. This thing, if you keep it clean, you don't have to do anything, literally anything to it other than keep it clean and keep it, out of harm's way. But now that it's IP65, that's even less maintenance that you have to do to it, which is almost nothing to begin with. And then you have 5 as a manual operation. Now that is true. So manual operation, you have to run over, you have to start this motor, right? You have to start it, and then it burns gas, 24 hours a day until you turn it off, where you have a battery thing that's literally noiseless, right? Sitting in the same room with you, possibly on the desk with you, right? And you never have to start it. When you need it, it's already on. Excuse me. So very huge difference, guys. This is life-changing technology, and I just wish, I have one regret, and I wish I would have got into it earlier. But guys, this stuff is not cheap, and you have to save money to get this stuff. Okay, impressive output for most devices. Boy, look at all this bad boy stuff. All right, so prepare to be wowed by the AC240's exceptional output power. It effortlessly handles most appliances with a robust 2400 watt rated output. But wait, there's more. Connect 2 AC240's units in parallel to skyrocket to a maximum 4800 watts. Guys, now this in a set of 2 is reaching my favorite Bluetti that they've ever made so far, which is the AC500. I like the AC300, but I love the AC500. That is a monster power station that weighs possibly 200. No, actually it's more than that. Let's see, it's 90 pounds per battery plus the main, so you're talking 6 battery. Holy crapzilla, guys, you're looking at about 600 pounds. That can't be carried by anyone that I know unless you're super bodybuilder or Mr. America or something, or Mrs. America, whatever. But that's a ton of weight. However, you can break the system up because it's modular and carry one piece at a time and carry 600 pounds of weight at 90 pounds a piece across the room or to the job site or whatever, and then put it back together. That is phenomenal. And then you're able to get 18,000 watt hours out of the AC500. That's one. Guys, you could double that with 2 units, 36,000 watt hours. That's insane. That you could take 1,200 watts, 1,200 pounds of energy and 36,000. These numbers are getting big. 36,000 watt hours of power, and literally put it in the back of your van, drive across town, take it out, set it up at a workshop, and you have literally a power plant in the trunk of your car or your van, and then you set it up, hook the cables back up, and you're ready to go. No fuss, no muss, no carbon monoxide, no gas, no nothing. That's insane to me. That's so cool. That's so cool. Okay, so whether you're powering up a cozy campsite or keeping the party going, it delivers top-notch performance for uninterrupted entertainment. Guys, having all of this power at a campsite, that's a lot of power, guys. Especially now, I think, can you only put 1 battery here? I thought you could put more. We have to wait and see, guys. I thought there was a bigger stack of batteries that you could put with each one, but we have to wait and see, guys. There's not much information other than this page that's on the internet. I've looked for it, and as soon as I found this when I was at the Bluetti live stream, I thought I'd go to Bluetti's page and look for this, and of course I found it. So I want to get this information out as much as I can because, like I said, I love this technology. All right, powering is more like playing with Lego. Seriously, guys, that's not an exaggeration. Like I said, it's a modular, so you build it as you need it. If you don't need it, don't build it, don't buy it. That's so cool that you are in control of the options and power that you need, as opposed to just buy. If you want a 4-cylinder car and all that's available is a V8, right? That's overkill. You don't need a V8 if you only want a 4-cylinder. So now imagine if you had a 4-cylinder and had the opportunity, right, the options of buying more cylinders and sticking them in the car. Would that be cool or what? They have to make modular engines, guys. I'd be the first one to buy one. They did try in Australia. They had I think it's a 5-cylinder van, and once you get going, like I think it drops one of the cylinders, so it only runs on 4, and then it like puts one on standby. But I haven't heard too much information about that. Okay, stack up B210 expansion batteries. So that's 2 more cheat sheets I have to make for the Ramblin Bob Coffee House database. which is the B210 expansion and the AC240, so people can, you know, get this information. Okay, and watch the power options multiply. Not surprisingly, your every energy need will be taken good care of. Now this is how it works, guys. Look at this. This video is huge, and I can't make it any smaller. I tried to shrink the page, guys. It really, I don't know if it, oh, there it goes. Okay. Oh boy. You know what? I think I lost something here. Okay, there it is. All right, let me shrink it real slow here, guys. All right, where's the video? I think I lost the video, guys. I'm sorry about that. Okay, is that it? Okay, there you go. Okay, so I just want to make it, oh, see, yeah, see, the video is huge, guys. I don't know if it's the coding on the page or whatever. These videos are way too big, or maybe it's designed for a phone because it is in that weird vertical. But here you have 1, 2, 3, 4. So it looks like 4 batteries plus the main system. So yeah, that's 10. Yeah, it was. I remember the pictures on the top. So that's 10,000 watt hours, 10 kilowatts of power on each thing. Imagine having that camping. 10 kilowatts. That's like having a power station, like in your car. Like not a power station, but like an actual real power station. That's crazy. I couldn't imagine using 10,000 watt hours camping. You know, I'd have the coolest campsite on the whole place, I can guarantee you that. Okay, it says, note, the B210 expansion batteries is an IP65 water resistant and a standalone power source with USB-C and USB-A ports. So that's cool. Let me make a note for myself real quick, guys. Let me type in Bluetti B210, and the other one is obviously the Bluetti AC240, because I want to make those cheat sheets available to people on the website there. Okay, so let's go back here. So here's your turbo charging, guys. This is monster speed. Wow, 2200 watts. For those of you who don't understand how much power that is, man, an average house, okay, the outlet in an average house at a 15 amp usually is about 1850 watts. So you're literally pulling in or pulling out more energy than an average outlet in an average house into a little box like this, and then you can pick the box up and carry it away. That's insane to even think about, that these engineers are coming up with this stuff. And holy crapzilla. Okay, no more waiting around. Simply plug into the wall outlet and watch the power flow into the unit in no time. So 2200 watts max input, and of course in their Bluetti app you can slow that down if need be, and that is perfect for everybody out there, because you may not want to pull that much. You may not have that much power to pull at one time, so you can definitely knock it down in the app. Awesome, awesome. And then 80% state of charge in 45 minutes. That's mental, guys. You can charge 80% of this. That's 4/5 of the entire system in 45 minutes. In emergency time, you charge it to 80% and you get the heck out of Dodge. That's cool. Okay, here's some notes here. It says the AC240 accepts up to 2200 watts of AC input via turbocharging. That's what I was referring to, guys, the settings in the app. You have silent, normal, and turbo, unless they change anything for this model. But all the other ones that I have 3 Bluetti power stations, and they all say silent, normal, and turbo. Okay, it says while paired with a B210 battery, it can reach 2400 watts. So remember, guys, you can't get that much power unless you have one battery hooked to this model. So you probably have about 1200 watts on this system, and then if you put at least one battery on there, then you get 2400 watts. So I think you need that before you use that this output, but I'm not sure though. But like I said, this is all new stuff. Okay. Extra 30 amp charging cable is required for turbo charging. So there you go, guys. If you want to get up to this big number here, you gotta go buy a special cord, just so you know. Okay, so what is this here? This is a button. Okay, so here's your charging options. Car charger, obviously that is your cigarette lighter, or if you have a Tesla, sometimes they have outputs where you can power dump from that huge thing. A lot of people don't know Teslas have like 75,000 to 200,000 watt hours of power in their batteries. That's astronomical. To give you an idea of how much power that is, guys, the average household in the United States, of what I looked up, uses anywhere between an average of about 10,000 watt hours a day. So just imagine that Tesla is riding around on possibly 20 days of energy for your house. Think of that in a case of an emergency. If you had to power your house, you could run an extension cord, not your house, but like an emergency situation, you could run extension cord from your Tesla somehow, and you could power up things like, you know, cookers and stuff from your car. That's a crazy amount of energy. Crazy. I mean, we only burn about, my last bill was about 5.3 kilowatts a day. We're very, very light on power here. And then my shop is obviously 100% off the grid. But unbelievable amount of power in a Tesla. Look that up once. You'll be shocked. So imagine charging it with solar panels, and people have, you know, 1600 watt array of solar panels. Think of the hours, days, if not months it would take to charge a Tesla on solar panels. You'd have to go to work one day and then wait a month just to get your car back. Okay, so lead acid battery, obviously you can power dump from batteries into the system with what are they called, you know, the clamps that you put the alligator clamps you put on a battery, and then go in through like a DC input. But be careful with that, guys, because reverse polarity is a real problem. And then here's your B210. So you have your solar panel, so you have inputs on your battery, so that's cool. The AC outlet. Now this is something I've noticed. This is really cool, guys. Notice that this AC outlet it looks like a charging station. I didn't know this. I just recently learned this. Some charging stations allow you to charge very, very big power stacks like this, as long as they can take that voltage input. Now be careful with that. That's very dangerous. So if you know what you're doing, good. If you don't, learn a lot more first. But I've seen somebody actually pull up to a charging station on YouTube, and they were able to charge their system that was in their truck. They had this work truck and his big battery banks full of server rack batteries, and their inverter was able to go up to 500 volts. So they literally could pull the energy from one of these and fill up these in like an hour. That's crazy, guys, because they're pulling it up to like 480 volts. That's one touch of 480 volts, and you are no longer a human being. You are a pile of dust. I mean, that is an immense amount of power right there. And then if you guys remember, Nikola Tesla, a world hero, literally sat under, if you look at that famous picture of him, he sat under 1,000,000 volts with that Tesla coil and watched this like literal lightning bolts shoot around him, and he wasn't even worried, because he understood and respected the concept of electricity and how it transports itself. Like he's the father of electricity. A lot of people put Benjamin Franklin on that, because of the key. Nikola Tesla, in my opinion, that is the father. He literally created the outlets in your house, the concept of it. Without Nikola Tesla or Nikolai Tesla, we wouldn't have AC at all. Unbelievable man. You should watch this documentary. It's mind-blowing. And then you have a car charger, of course, which is your Tesla. So you can do either one on the AC240, and then obviously the other ones you can do on the battery. Now it says, note, solar charging cable is included with B210's package, while AC and car charging cables are sold separately. A lot of companies do that, guys. I call it the Apple technique. Every time you want to buy something or use a particular, and I'm not picking on Apple, it's just that was their model. That was like their business model, which is, if you want to have the headphones, you got to buy a special jack. My wife had to buy a special jack that was like $20 or $25 in order for her to use traditional headphones, because she didn't have the Bluetooth versions right away. So we had to go and get that cable so she could have that. So that's what I call the Apple approach as far as the business model. Okay, here, efficient PV charging. PV stands for photovoltaic. That's solar panels, guys, just in case you don't know. Paired with solar panels to access clean and sustainable energy whenever and wherever the sun shines. I'm reading off this huge screen, guys. So I have this big TV right in my face. Max input 1200 watts of solar. That's, guys, I wish I had that. I wish I had that much input. That would be so awesome. And then here's your loads. Oh yeah, we saw that already. Okay, so now you scroll down a little bit here, and then it says a decade of power, companion forever, BMS, Bluetopus, I think it's called. Basically an octopus AI system. Octopus, hence meaning eight arms, eight cores probably in the processor. Protect against overcharge, discharge, and overcurrent, etc. Bluetti, guys, has absolutely tons of safety things built into the systems. High temperature charging, low temperature charging protection, over voltage protection, over wattage protection from the AC it shuts down. Everything, guys. Too much solar coming in shuts it down. So they are very good with their protections. Auto balance, ensure equivalent capacity for parallel operation. Now that's cool. Auto balance, that's something new for me. I know what it is, but I haven't seen it on a power station yet. So imagine if you put two batteries side by side, and one is at 60% and one is at 65%, and you hook them in parallel. What do you think happens to the voltage of one to the other? I'll give you a second to think about it. Okay, two swimming pools next to each other. If one is higher than the other and you connect them, the one with more water, i.e. voltage, will flow to the other one until that voltage balances. So you have that same 62.5 volts in both batteries. Being one was 60, one was 65. It balances like water, guys. And now that it has auto balance, which means it checks it and makes sure that that balance is good, because what will happen is if one battery was at, let's say it's at 50% and one battery is at 100%, if you burn out 50% of the battery rating, right, and even though one is down to 0 and one is at 50 and can still go another 50%, the power meter thinks and believes that both batteries are empty because they're in parallel, right? That's the problem with RC cars, and they have what's called balanced charging. So anyone that's familiar with RC world, they have the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cell LiPo batteries that literally the charging has multiple cables and then one ground negative, so that way you can literally make sure that the voltage in all the cells are balanced, guys. Always remember or think of a swimming pool when you talk about voltage of multiple systems. You want to have equal voltage if you parallel stuff, guys. So otherwise, like I said, the system doesn't understand the real percentage, because you have 2 or 4 or 10 numbers depending on how many batteries you have hooked. And then you have 10-year lifespan, 6-year warranty. That's let's wait, I don't understand. 10-year lifespan. Oh, okay, so it's a 6-year warranty, guys. Now I get it. I read it too fast. So 10-year lifespan is the battery. So that means you have approximately 3,500 cycles to 80%. Now, after 3,500 cycles, your battery, you don't have to throw it away, right? You could sell it, but please let people know that you burned up that many, just to give them a fair shake. If you buy a used one, test the capacity first to make sure that you're still getting your 80% or higher, because if you bought a used one and they were down to like 50% capacity, you'd really feel, taken advantage of. So test a used one before you buy it, guys. Always a good thing. And then a 6-year warranty. So that means that you can use that cycling every single day for about 9.6 years. I think I'm the only one. And that's because I review and test, and I use mine to power my workshop 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, that actually cycles their systems every single day. And sometimes on a heavy load, we'll cycle it twice. Like when we used to do testing for the system, we used to cycle it 2 or 3 times a day, which takes forever on like a 7 or 8 kilowatt system, because you have to burn that out. So you have to, suck out a ton of power and then put in a bunch of power, and that takes time, of course, to do that. And I think the most that we've ever done, I think, is 3 cycles in one day. So even if I did 3 cycles every single day, you would still get 3.5 years. But no one is going to cycle it 3 times a day. And most people, I would say probably 95% or even higher, is not going to cycle their stuff every single day unless you use it 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 like we do. So the warranty is awesome. 6 years, guys. That's a long time. That's a long time. Here's this young lady and her puppy dog literally sitting. I always find this funny, guys. I think that's a drone sitting on top. The pictures that they take, hopefully she's camping nearby. Otherwise, she's literally sitting in the middle of like the Grand Canyon or Arizona somewhere, and she's all by herself with a dog. and a power station, but she has nothing really to power. I always found those pictures funny when I see those, but it shows the possibilities of you're in the middle of literally nowhere and have a power station right at your side. And notice there's no smoke, there's no smog, there's no carbon monoxide, there's no pollution for that like if you look at this horizon, guys, it's gorgeous. I mean, oh my God, I would die to sit there and wake up every morning and see that outside of your campsite. Oh my gosh, that was awesome. Okay, smart power management anytime, anywhere. Now this is their Bluetti app, guys. The neat thing with that is it's accessible 24 hours a day on the internet, or you can do it locally with Bluetooth. I'm a Bluetooth person, but if I go away, I have the option of accessing the machines from anywhere in the world, as long as you have Wi-Fi or a cellular signal or something like that. Okay, now here, this is, I'm getting ready for this, guys. I need to drink a Dr. Pepper here. Okay, this is my favorite part, guys. This is the specs. This is the tail of the tape. Oh, look at, I have to make another one here. Give me 1 second here. So it's going to be a Bluetti B210P, and then I'm assuming they're going to have another one, which is the Bluetti. I'm just making notes here, guys. Sorry, just typing as quick as I can here. So the Bluetti AC240P. Now what the P is, guys, is the IP65 water rating. So the one that's orange like this, I believe, is the waterproof one, unless I got that wrong. Now here's the other ones here. That's what it's been like on all the other systems. So let's, how did I do that? Okay, there you go. So we're going to look at the specs of both, guys, and I'm going to take a picture of all this stuff here. Let me, oh, geez Louise, I lost it, guys. Sorry about that here. Okay, here's the specs, and I'm gonna pull this real quick here if I can just take 1 more second. I do apologize, guys. Okay, so let's see here. Oh, you know what? I should keep that in there. Okay, and then I should put this here. Guys, if you ever need to save something from the internet or anything, these screen savers are really, really cool. So there, I save the whole thing, and then you go boop, and then it saves. So that's really cool. And then I'm gonna do that 1 more time in real time so you can see how I do it. You grab, where was it? Oh boy, I screwed it up again here. Sorry, guys. Here you go. And then you take that, and then this is how I make those really cool little cheat sheets so everybody can keep their information real close at hand, so that you don't make a mistake with charging or something like that. And boop, there you go. I got it. Okay, so we're going to go back to the main system here. I lost it, guys. Okay, here it is. Okay, so we're on the AC240. So this is the difference between, oh, I see, okay, this is actually different, guys. So they're probably both IP65 rated. Yep, this one says IP65. I don't know if this one does. This one actually has a bigger capacity, if you look. That's 1,843, and this is 1,536. Okay, so let's go through the AC240 first. So you have battery capacity, as I said, 1,536 watt hours. AC charging is 0 to 80% in 45 minutes, and 2,200 watts max. That's huge. Pair with a B210 for 2,400 watts. Okay, so you only get 2,200 watts max input unless you put another a battery with it, a B210, and then you can go up to 24. That's a monster amount of input power, guys. That's a big charge. Here's your solar charging, 0 to 100% in 1.5 hours at 1,200 watts with prime sunshine. That's called perfect sunshine, guys. When it's it's gorgeous, the blue skies are blue, the sun is just up there like a cartoon, and it's just shining away. If you have shades or clouds or anything, or trees or things like that, obviously that would affect that time. 12 volt to 24 volt car outlet from 100 to 200 watts. That's fantastic, guys, because a lot of portable fridges can run 24 volts, and that's much more efficient for it, and you get much more power out of there, and that way you can cool it down faster and keep it cooler better. Let's see, you have a 0 to 100% in 14.6 hours at 12. Obviously, that is a backup plan, guys. I don't think anybody's going to really drive 15 hours a day and charge their system. However, it's there as an emergency. Now, the 24 volt is 7.5, which is still a long time, but that's definitely a lot less time than almost 15 hours. So that's possible in one very, very long day of driving. But the 15 hours, I don't even think semi guys can drive that long without getting in trouble. Okay. it says the following parameters are the same for both. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go up and we're going to look at the AC240P on this stuff before we do this, because this section is for both models. So the capacity on the AC240 with the orange, that's how you tell them apart easily, guys. The orange is the Pro version. 1,843 watt hours is the battery capacity. 0 to 80% in 50 minutes at 2,300 watts max. And then you get pair with a B210P for 2,400 watts max. Now, guys, remember the batteries, the B210 and the B210P are probably not interchangeable. That's something that you want to look into before you buy batteries for this, because same with other systems, the AC500 is the only system that can take the B300S. The AC300 system can only take up to the B300, and you cannot combine those two battery packs amongst each other. So be careful of that. Okay, and then you get 2,400 watt max, same as this one, if you have one battery hooked up to that. Your solar charging is the same here, 1,200 watts, obviously prime sunshine, ideal orientation and low temperature, of course. And then here's your charging, which, as you can see, that the 12 volt is 17.5 hours now, and that's obvious because remember you have another 300, it looks like 308 watt hours, if my math is correct in my head, about 300 plus watt hours more in this system, and that's what makes the difference of charging times. And then 8.7 hours in a 24 volt system. Okay, now this stuff is the parameters for both systems, which is the Pro and the original one. Okay, so IP rating is IP65, so we know that both, whether you get the Pro or the original, is watershed, guys. Not waterproof, it's watershed. Look into this IP rating and understand it before you buy. Life cycles is 3,500 plus cycles. This is nice. They put in silent mode. Guys, this is very important because this mode right here means the slowest charging mode on the system. You have the three. Remember, you have silent, you have normal, and you have turbo, which means if you go into normal mode, this could drop down to 2,500 to 3,000. We don't have a number for that, right? But it's definitely going to impact that battery. And if you go to turbo, you could possibly cut this in half. So guys, always, 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 if you could charge slow, if you have the time, do yourself a favor and charge your batteries slower. They will thank you more and they will last a lot longer. Okay. Think of batteries as your body. I wake you up at 6 a.m. in the morning like the military does. Well, actually 3 o'clock in the morning like the military does. And they get your butt outside and you have to run a marathon. I mean, that is not good for your body. But they teach you that because obviously when the SHIT hits the fan, you got to go. There's no pause or waiting. Like a firefighter. When that alarm goes, you go. There's no, I'm going to have breakfast and coffee and a cigarette first. You go. You know what I mean? Lives are depending on it. So imagine if you woke your battery up every morning and just pushed in 2,400 watts every day. Obviously, that's going to affect the battery performance long term in the cells. Okay, your output, your inverter, is obviously pure sine wave, guys. Don't get anything but pure sine wave. The modified is still out there in a few systems. Stay away from it, in my opinion. Get pure sine wave inverters. It's a better, cleaner signal. Your AC outlets are 2 at 120 volts at 20 amps. I'll be honest, I wish they had more than 2. I always look down on systems when they have less than 3 because you run out of ports very quickly. My wife was just talking about it the other day. We had another system and all the ports were full and we had to hot swap one of the cables to plug in something else, and that can be a pain. Now you can run power strips or things like that, guys, but every time you put another piece of the puzzle into your configuration, right, you add more possibilities of problems and headaches. So I wish that they would have had at least 3 on this system. Okay, where did I leave off here? Oh, and one NEMA TT30. And guys, remember that's a 30 amp output at 120 volts. It doesn't say it, but that's usually 120 volts at 30 amps. And that's for heavy duty drawing things like when you dump it into your RV or running something very powerful like tools, and that way you got the amps to get that, that blade is spinning or whatever you're using there. Your USB-C port, 2 at 100 watt max. Now that's fantastic. What I I've also would have liked to see on this system is a input-output USB-C. The guys and gals have followed this channel know I am a huge fan of that technology. It's so simplistic and so effective, and it works. It should be on every power station out there, and that's where you can go to the USB-C plug and literally take energy out or put energy into the battery cells through that. That is a cool technology. I wish that would not go away and should be added to every single system out there, all of them. I don't care if people like them. And a light. I like lights. I'm a weirdo that way, guys. I like lights because a lot of people don't like lights. So everyone's like, oh, you're a weirdo for liking light. No, I like it because if an emergency, if it hits the fan, if you know what I mean, you can turn on the light of the power station. That will light up the entire room you're in, and then you can set up all your stuff. If you don't have a light and your phone is dead, right, you can't illuminate the room to figure out, okay, I have to plug this in, I got to run this cord, and that you could leave on 24 hours a day for safety as long as you have power. And now you have sight, and you have a way to set up your emergency situation. I think it's a must for every power station as well. It doesn't have to be a big light, guys, just a light. It could be a small LED light. They don't take up much power, and they're awesome for an emergency situation. Think of it this way: you're on the side of the freeway, it's dark, right? And you're in the country where they don't have lights. Like, there's not many lights on the freeway sometimes, right? So, or they're burnt out or whatever. So you could take this power station out, set it next to your car tire, turn the light on, and then change your car tire. A lot of people don't think like that. You take it down to the pier where you're going fishing or you're doing whatever, stargazing, and you have a light. As you carry the system, you can light up the path as you're walking, so you don't have to hold your phone, because then you'd have to use your power station in one hand and your phone in the other. Now, if you can't carry 40-50 pounds, that's tough on you, right? Okay, so the cigarette lighter port is 12 volt at 10 amps, which is pretty much standard now. It comes out probably about 13.5 volts, and it's regulated, I'm assuming, because all of them are from Bluetti, where it comes out actually higher than 12 volts, so that way it doesn't go down under 12 volts and breaks the device you're plugging in. Okay, pass-through charging, yes, that is a huge thing, guys. How that works very simply is when you have energy coming into the system from whatever source, you're able to power whatever you're powering and whatever extra energy over that. Say you're running a 100-watt whatever, a heater, let's just say for argument's sake, say a 100 watt heater, and you're bringing in 200 watts. That means 100 watts will flow through this device, through the heater, and power the heater, while the extra 100 watts coming in will actually divert and go into the battery cells. So that's called pass-through charging, and that way, if you only have 100 watts coming in, it lets it go directly through to the heater, and none of the extra energy, because there is none, goes to the battery cells. Okay, so your dimensions here, guys, and thank you very much, Bluetti, for putting it in inches, imperial, because I am not a metric guy under any circumstances, unless, guys, I have to ramble for a second, unless it comes to sockets. Sockets, I like that, because I do forget 5/8 is bigger than a half inch sometimes, and I don't know why. 3/8 is less than 4/8 is half an inch. I wish they would have labeled it like that. It's much easier for everyday people to understand. 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, things like that. 1/16, 2/16, as goofy as that sounds, but I understand why they did what they did. Okay, so you have 16.5 inches by 11.6 inches by 16.1 inches. Now, it doesn't say, it's usually height, width, and depth, but I don't know, because it's not, usually they have a W and H and things like that. So just figure, if you're going to make one, just to kind of see, you can make a cardboard box. This is actually a really good idea. Make a small cardboard box in this parameters, and then you can actually test that cardboard box, right, into the situation, like a closet or wherever you're going to store this thing, and know if it fits before you get it. That's a really simple way to actually test a three-dimensional product before you get it. Okay, is you make a cardboard box, and it's very cheap. It's free, probably. You got cardboard laying around the house. It's very, very easy to make. You just make a couple of sides, make it a square, and then you can carry this cardboard box around and set it in the situations that you would use it, to see if something, excuse me, of this size would even fit for you or work for you. Okay, so you have storage temperature, 14 degrees, excuse me, 14 degrees to 113 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a lot higher than normal, guys. I have some that store all the way down to 0. But just so you know, keep this in mind, guys, that this is higher than normal for me, this 14, and then this is usually about 111. So this one. So keep that in mind. Do your research on that too. Scalability, guys. Now this is the best, and I've talked about this many times. This is the best possibility for a monster power station in a very easily maneuverable situation. You can buy 4 batteries for each of the AC240s and have up to 8 batteries, guys. Now I don't know what a battery weighs yet because we're not there yet, but you can literally have 8 batteries and 2 systems and carry it piece by piece somewhere. That you cannot do with one big generator if you're all by yourself, right? Unless it's got wheels. You can't get wheels up steps very good, right? So that is where the system like this is a monster good thing for a transference of power. You know what I mean? Transporting power. And that's the parallel connection, obviously, for all 8 batteries. Now here your battery is lithium iron phosphate. That's the industry standard, I think, right now. Shelf life, recharge to every 3 to 6 months. Guys, I don't agree with that. If people know on this channel know that I would like to always recharge or cycle, quotation mark, cycle a battery every 30 days, every 1 month. The reason for that is it keeps it fresh, keeps it ready to go, and you're only burning 1 cycle. If you got 3,500 cycles, that would take you forever to burn out those cycles, guys. 3 to 6 months, and the reason for this is that's a half a year, guys. I test the machine before I store it, right, to make sure all the buttons still work, because in an emergency you don't have time for failure, right? And the more often you check it and cycle that battery, the better your brain is as far as thinking I'm prepared for the worst, if you know what I mean. Hopefully, fingers crossed, guys, that you never have an emergency. Or if the power just goes out. That's an emergency itself. We had it twice this year. Twice. And we were right next to the grid. That's very good and capable. But you know what? It went out twice. It went out twice. My wife woke me up at I think it was 4:50 in the morning one day. And she's like, the electricity's out on the whole block. And I was like, well, is ours out here? And she's like, no. And I go, well, then go back to bed. I mean, you want to talk about calming of your brain. I went back to bed like a baby. You know, I didn't worry. The power's on, the fridge is still going. We'll go back to sleep. Let them worry about that. That is such a good feeling for you and your family, especially if you got kids and you have to get up for school or whatever the situation is. Your alarm clocks don't reset. That is such a good feeling to have your food not spoil and everything still. Your coffee pot's going to go off at 6:50 in the morning right on the dot because it's still plugged in and there's no battery backup. Everything's still ready to go. That is a wonderful feeling, and I felt that twice this year. 2 times, guys, the power went out for a few hours at a time. That's scary. That's scary. Okay, the power lifting mode, guys, like I said, we don't use it. Emergency, emergency, emergency. The only time I use it. Emergency, emergency. Write that down. Emergency, comma, emergency, comma, emergency, comma. That's the only time I use it. And that's up to 3,600 watts. Like if you had to heat up a room, 3,600 watts of heat is a ton of heat. So you could easily heat up a room very easily with 1,000 watts, more or less, 3,600. That's equivalent to almost 3 full-size heaters. Actually, two full-size electric heaters is 3,000 watts. That's a ton of heat. So you have USB-A ports. These are quick charge 3.0s. They're 18 watts apiece. That's cool. I wish that they would bump those up higher, but I know they can't because of the port itself. That's why they came out with USB-C to get the higher watts out of there and the voltage. Where I think this can only go up to, I can't remember on the top of my head, but I know that USB-C can go all the way up to 20 volts. So that's where you get that extra power from. RV 12 volt DC 30 amp 360 watt max. So that's your 12 volt connection that can connect into your system, and then what that can do is charge up your batteries at 360 watts. It would take a while, but it's awesome for a backup or running some stuff in the RV. UPS switching time 15 milliseconds, guys. That's much lower than Bluetti's norm. Their norm that I've always seen is it says under 20 milliseconds, which that's 25% faster, and I think that's very good for electronics that don't have batteries in them, computers and whatnot. Very important life-saving stuff like medical stuff. The quicker the switching time, the better off you'll be in the long run. Operating temperature is down to -4 all the way up to 104. Now these are the ones that I'm used to. You know what? I might have got those mixed up. Maybe the storage. Yes, I take that back. I apologize. So the operating temperature is the -4 that I'm used to seeing, or 0, and then 104. This is the storage. So if you're going to store it, it usually is 32 and higher. So that was my memory that failed me on that one. So this is actually lowered now than what I thought was the norm. The norm is usually 32 degrees Fahrenheit, so this can actually go half of that. So that's cool. You can store it at a lower, which means if you're traveling and it's in a van or a trailer, it can be colder, and then you can use it right away when you get there, right? So that's cool. That's cool, guys. Without having to warm it up first or something like that. 6-year warranty, as we talk. Here's all your certifications, guys. Look, it's endless. They have all kinds of certifications. Obviously, this is a major, huge company, so they have to do everything, to keep people safe. And now, notice that this is hidden here. There's supposed to be a button here, according to this. So if you want to see this yourself, I'll put up the page. You click that here, and then it goes to the next one. I wish they would say that, because I wonder how many people would miss that. Okay, so let's burn these real quick, because this is an hour and 50 minutes already. Thank you very much for staying with us, guys. We love our subscriber family, and we just try to get out every bit of information. Even if we don't physically have the product, we try to get out the information, because this will help somebody somewhere, and that's our goal on this channel, is to help the subscriber family. And new viewers, too. If you're a new viewer, join the subscriber family. We need you here. Okay, so you have... it went back for some reason. There it goes. Okay. So this is a shorter list here. So battery capacity is 2,150 watt hours on either one. I believe they're both the same here. Yep. And then the type is lithium iron phosphate. Of course, you can't mix battery chemistry. Shelf life, once again, I said I agree, and my opinion is 1 month. I agree to myself. Scoopy says, I recommend once every month, guys. Just do it. You'll feel better. You'll know it's safer and ready to go for hopefully no emergency that'll ever come. You have IP65 rating. That's awesome, because now you have, if you spill something on it, God forbid, you can wipe it off and just, life is normal, right? You go back to 3,000. Now notice that this one says 3,000 life cycles, where the main system says 3,500 cycles, guys. Remember that. So the battery packs last less time than the main system. Remember that, okay? BMS, MPPT, control and management system. Obviously, that's all the fluctuation of the brain and the computer, and it's saying, hey, you energy go over there, and you go into that battery cell, you balance over here, and you take this energy. It's basically the manager of a business. He runs the show, the BMS, or she runs the show. Okay, input, AC charging, 4.7 hours with 470 watt max. That's actually 70 watts higher than my battery packs. I have 4 battery packs for 2 other systems, and they can only accept 400 watts. So that's good to see that these are much better inputs. However, there's a drawback. T500 or T500S AC adapter required. Required means you have to buy it separately. Always remember that. You have to buy it separately if you want to go in through the batteries. 12 volt to 24 volt. Car outlet, obviously, it's going to take 20 hours, guys. This isn't a norm, but it's a good for backup. Or you travel 5 days in a row, and you charge it 4 hours each time, right? And then boom, by the end of the week, you have a full battery pack for storage. If you were in a semi or something like that for a backup plan, 7.3 hours for a 24 volt, which is obviously, as you can see, the efficiency much better. You'd think that 12 volt and 24 volt would be cut in half, right? It's not. It's 20 hours and 7 hours, so it's almost what would that be? 2 times faster, almost. Boy, my brain's not working here. Almost two-thirds. Yeah, 2/3 faster than 12 volts. So 24 volt. I wish they'd have a 48 volt charging system on a big rig or something like that, and you can knock this down to literally 2 or 3 hours. Okay, so AP, USB A and C outputs, guys. Actually, yep, you have all 3 here, guys. So you have A. Oh, wait, I missed one. I'm sorry. I totally missed one. So your solar charging is 4.5 hours with 500 watts max. So I believe the T500S gives you the 500 watts, I believe, because that's a higher, fancier than this one is. So 470 on the normal, and then 500 is the max input with this one. And that's 100 watts now. So it's 100 watts, 25% more than what my batteries can take in, and I have 4 of them. Okay, so now I'll go down to the output here. and USB-A is 1 at 18, so you have one quick charge. What's known as a grandpa port, USB-A. It's the squarish-looking one. We all know USB ports. And then your USB-C is 100 watt max output. And here again, I just wish that Bluetti would get the message and put the input-output USB-C port on all of their devices. I think it could be a lifesaver some days, just in case what if your MPPT controller burns out? I don't know how is it separate, or does this go through the MPPT, or your ports burn out, or your cables, you lose you forget to bring your cables. There's so many situations where, oh crap, I forgot my cables, and then you could pull out a simple USB cord and pump in 100 watts off a solar panel, right? Because a lot of them have, the older ones, the 100 watt solar panels have those USB-C outputs where you can put in 60, 65, or 100 watts. And then your cigarette lighter port, guys, I don't use it much anymore, guys. And I like that Bluetti called it a cigarette lighter port. A lot of people call it like a car port and a marine port. Guys, it's a cigarette lighter port. It is what it is. It's been called that for, I don't know, it seems like 100 years now. And then now, obviously, that's regulated at probably 13.5 volts out, up to 10 amps, which is approximately up to 100 watts out, depending on your setup and your cables and everything. Your connection. Pass-through charging, awesome. So here, once again, now you have pass-through charging on the batteries now. That's cool because some systems don't have that, where once again you're using that 100 watts to run something and you're bringing in 200 watts. The 100 watts flow through to the device and the extra 100 watts goes into the battery cells. Very cool to have that on the batteries as well. 61.5 pounds a piece, guys. Remember that. That's heavy. A lot of folks have trouble with over 40, 50 pounds. So, yeah, just, get a trolley. Don't hurt your back. Don't live. The buddy system, guys. When you lift 60 pounds and you're over 50 years old, 67. I know some of us old guys are like, I can do that. I'm strong as a mule. Well, you're strong as a mule until your back gives out, and then you're weak as a butterfly. So just be careful out there lifting stuff like that. Your back could go like that. Or your knees or your hips or all kinds of stuff, guys. The older we get, the more brittle we get. Okay, warranty 6 years, same as the system. Operating temperature, same. Let's see, the noise level, 40 decibels. I'm going to give you an idea of what 40 decibels is. This is 40 decibels. It's that quiet, guys. It's like a whisper. You can look up a decibel rating system on the internet. 40 decibels is literally nothing. You can't hear it across the room, basically. It's so quiet you'd have to listen for it. And that can charge like that, or run like that in that quiet. That's where, like I said, these batteries, they literally crush generators and stuff. Except generators don't need time to recharge from the sun. You can add gas or diesel right away. So that's the only thing where they have more power. But now the output of the battery packs and these power stations are literally, like I said, the AC500, my favorite system ever so far that I've ever seen, and I want very dearly, but it's like $15,000. You can pump out 5,000 watts up to 10,000 watts surge all day long. And unless the battery runs out. That is a ton of power for a handful of batteries. That's unbelievable. I mean, you need a diesel generator to bring out that much power. My Honda EU2000i only can put out about 1,600 rated, and I think 2,000 or so surge, and that's nothing compared to the AC500. That would crush. It would take literally 4 of those to equal one AC500 system with all the batteries and everything. Holy crapzilla, guys. Or even one battery, Let's see, you have all your certifications. Oh, we missed the size here, guys. Once again, it's in metric and imperial, guys. 16.4 inches by 11.1 inches by 10.6 inches. I know it's off topic, but it's on topic, guys. The weird thing is how they came up with the imperial system is kind of weird. So the King's foot was actually 12 inches long, and that's how they created the entire system. What a crazy story that is. But, the King says it's his way. That's the way it goes. So that's why we have, 3/4 and 1/4. It's 1/4 of the King's foot. That's why they call it imperial system. Here's all your certifications, guys. Obviously, it's everything. Your FCC ID is obviously for your Bluetooth and your Wi-Fi, and then all the rest of the stuff is certifications for UL rated and everything. Like everything you need it's there. I mean, that's a huge list. 2 years ago, there was maybe 1 or 2 of these on a power station, and now you have literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 certifications on one system. times are getting good, guys. And then the storage is obviously 14, which, like I said, is lower than, I made the mistake, it's lower than what I'm used to. Usually systems store at 32 degrees because they don't want them stored in freezing temperatures. All right, I believe that's it. Wow, that was, guys, these systems are getting better every single time that I look at these systems. I feel like a kid in a candy store. That's not a joke. I literally wake up in the morning now. This is my new hobby, and the first thing that pops in my mind is my wife and my cat okay? That's the first thing. Second, is my house and everything okay? But then the third thing literally I do, and my wife will, she'll confirm this, I come over to the computer and I look up power stations. It has caught me by storm. I can't explain it, but I can. You know what I mean? It's like a kid that just found RC cars or candy for the first time. If you buy one, and this is a warning, if you buy one power station from any company, I guarantee it, in a year or two, you will buy another one. It's so addictive, this industry. It caught me like absolute fire. I talk passionate about it because I am passionate about it. I don't do commercials. I do honest reviews and honest opinions. If I don't like something, I am brutal about it. I will bash it for 10 hours. Like the one system with the charging bricks, hated them. Absolutely hated them, and I bashed them for video after video after video. But that's all we had at that time, right? So you have to kind of poke fun at them and hopefully keep messaging the companies, and as they grow, they take your opinions and your ideas and make the equipment better and more versatile for everybody. So now a lot of these systems, Bluetti's one of them, they don't have charging bricks much anymore. So that's cool, guys. Get rid of the stuff that's dated technology and let's move forward. But this industry is, I guarantee you, it will catch you by fire and smack you in the face and wake you up and go, why didn't I figure this out 10 years ago? If they had it 10 years ago. Like, why didn't I follow this solar trend 10 years ago? It's amazing technology, guys. I can't stress that enough. I don't have the prices, guys, obviously, because they're not listed. It's not available until, I believe, what did it say, like April 2nd or so? I think it was April 2nd, guys. I forgot where I read that. But holy crap, Zilla, guys. I hope you stayed with me the whole time. If not, I understand. I ramble a lot. But I just wanted, like I said, to get this information out. I believe even if I don't have the product, just getting the information out helps people understand bit by bit what things do and how to use them and how they can help or benefit your life. All right, guys, ramble on, be safe, and we'll definitely see you here again on Ramblin Bob Reviews. Bye, guys.